Them Eagles. You got to love it.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
They routed the Chiefs 40-22.
How you feeling this morning, Rock?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't partake in, beverages as much as I would have liked to.
You didn't go overboard, is that what you're saying?
No, I could have, but unfortunately, my night didn't work out that way. But
your eyes were red.
As I told you, before the show started, sometimes you run into people that you don't want to run into.
That's unfortunate that you did. To top off your night, you got to deal with something like that. I mean, that's the kind of thing you go, okay, you're having a great night. All things are going very, very well. And the next thing you know, you got to deal with whatever, confrontation or those kind of things. And I think from that particular standpoint, a lot of folks, look at those kind of things and go, wow, okay, so you won, you're ecstatic. Folks in Philadelphia, they have like close to, 150,000 people in the streets of Philadelphia that came out. And I think those are a couple of things when you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team, talking about the folks coming out to support, is this team, if they came out just guns a-blazing with this defense. What, they have 25 sacks on
6.
Give or take. It seemed like 25. The hurries, the pressures, the sacks. And I will say that it's very rare you see Andy Reid get out coached like you got out coached, but I think that he got outmanned, he got out coached, and they just got outplayed, that being the Chiefs.
It was a good old-fashioned Super Bowl blowout, the kind that you used to see in the 80s and the 90s, which have become rare in the National Football League now.
That was probably the best. There's two games I can think of as far as defensive Super Bowl performances. And number one would be with the Bears when they smoked the New England Patriots, just shut them out, shut them down. And then when the Baltimore Ravens just crushed the New York Giants. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I think that you think about the Giants finally got some yards at the end of the game. But those two games, as far as defensive smackdowns, shutdowns, total dominance, were two that I can think of.
It was like, everything went right for the Philadelphia Eagles. Everything. It was like they were playing Madden, and everything just went like they planned. And the Chiefs had to chase. I mean, they were chasing history to start it, but then they had to chase from the get-go. And the way that this started with the offensive pass interference to start the game, I was like, oh, here we go. The refs are going to control this one. But they got that one out of the way. And then it ends up being the greatest victory, the greatest season in Philadelphia history, and especially in football, in the city of brotherly love. And now is Jalen Hurts. Why is he not in the conversation with Jamar, with Josh Allen, and Burrow?
You mean Lamar?
He's not
Lamar
He's not
Jackson.
flashy. That's why.
Well,
he
you can make a case
when he had to be.
But Josh is he's the
I know.
MVP.
Yep.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl.
No.
If you looked at Jalen Hurts' numbers 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, no interceptions, a touchdown, threw over 300 yards. Numbers were outstanding. Again, what he did yesterday, numbers were outstanding. Granted, he didn't throw for 300 yards, but he rushed for close to 100 yards.
I think a lot of it, Rock, is he's just not flashy about what he does.
Yeah.
He just wins.
Think
about that.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, just wins. I think now he's as far as big game quarterbacks in today's game, he's in the top 5.
I'm with you.
He's totally in the top 5. I mean,
but why wasn't he top 5 going in?
You know what? I think of the first Super Bowl run he made, and then it fell short last year. I think last year losing those 6 in a row, not that it knocked him down a peg, but I think it kind of went, okay, Jalen, you did it 2 years ago. You guys suffered last year, but he brought him back this year. And I think a lot of that, guys, was just getting things situated with your head coach, your offensive coordinator, and being on the same page. The kid's always been an outstanding quarterback. Now it's just a matter of getting to the Super Bowl, winning that Super Bowl. I mean, he's won, 2 NFC championships, comes back and gets his first Super Bowl win. So I think he's always been an outstanding quarterback. And maybe the numbers haven't been flashy enough for him to win, but I think you win. And that's all that matters. You talk to a lot of these guys.
But there's validation yesterday.
Absolutely.
And he practically was perfect. 17-22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception where he got hit, right?
Right, yep.
Rushed for 72 yards and a touchdown. He leaves the game with less than 3 minutes left, gets, of course, a standing O on that. And now in just his 5th season, he joins your favorite 2 quarterbacks, Joe Namath and Joe Montana, as have won the FBS championship and a Super Bowl as starters. There's only 3 guys that have done that.
That's it. And that's the amazing thing. The other 2 is when you think about the greatness of Joe Montana, the 4 Super Bowl wins, all wins, not one interception in those 4 Super Bowls. That's what's amazing to me. And then Joe Willie, the story behind that was to be a 19-point dog and come back and win that game. But I think what they did in the AFC Championship game had to be in Philadelphia, and what they did with Jalen Hurts to allow him to throw more, Saquon Barkley have that full game. Because, look, guys, I will say this. They shut down Barkley yesterday being the Chiefs.
They did. They did a really good job.
It was his passing, his running, and him controlling the clock. The thing is, as far as third down conversions were concerned, neither team had great third down conversions. But the thing that Jalen Hurts did is he kept some drives going alive. They had the football 37 minutes. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that was about Jalen Hurts making some key completions, some key throws, and then some key scrambles during that game.
I think the biggest story has got to be the defense.
Absolutely.
And Fangino take over a team that was 26th last year. Epic turnaround. The first half numbers, 24-0. He shuts him out, that defense. Chiefs ran 20 plays for 23 yards and 2 turnovers and a pick 6. First downs, 13-1. Total yards, 179-23. Eagles had 3 sacks. I mean, the Kansas City had 7 drives of 20 plays, and they can only get 23 yards. They came out ready. They had their foot on the gas, and that went all the way into the third quarter, and we have third quarter numbers we'll give you too. The fact that they scored, 22, whatever it ended up being, it's all garbage anyway.
Yeah,
complete garbage.
A couple deep throws there that he had there to
at the end.
At the very end
to Worthy.
But here's the thing: that pass rush with just 4 guys.
They never blitzed.
They never blitzed.
No. Never blitzed.
They rushed 4 the entire game. They rushed 3 and 4. So when you drop 7 or 8 guys into coverage, I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes, whoever you are, it's extremely difficult to find your receivers. But all that being said, hey, Andy Reid, how about a draw? How about a screen? How about a slip screen? How about a quick pass? Where's your hot routes? Who's doing your side adjust? It was like you were trying to go down the field, and that's not their game, especially with that pass rush. Because after a while, even Patrick Mahomes, the great Patrick Mahomes, had his eyes on the rush, and his eyes weren't down the field. You could see him. He was a little nervous back there dropping back.
They put so much pressure on Mahomes. It was reminiscent, and you referenced it quickly, of what the Tampa Bay defense did to them when they played them.
Same exact thing.
Same exact formula.
And the thing there was, this time around, they had all their entire offensive line was healthy.
Right.
That Tampa Bay game, not to make excuses, their 2 tackles were out. So
yeah.
you had one rookie and one journeyman at the other tackle, but this defensive line was pushing this offensive line into the face of Patrick Mahomes as well, too. That's why Andy Reid, Nick Fangio did something that a lot of guys have never really done with Andy Reid. That's confuse him, out-coach him, out-maneuver him, and out-personnel him. And if you got that kind of rush, how about we go max protect? Mm-hmm. How about we keep an extra guy in there, put another tight end in there, or have your running back stay in there? How about Pacheco or Hunter just block so you can try to get that ball down the field? But therein lies the good coverage they had down the field along with the pass rush.
What's interesting is the Philadelphia Eagles, if you didn't watch them much this year, they were a team that really struggled in the first quarter. I mean, really struggled. 1.3 points was their average scoring average in first quarters, which was ranked 792nd out of 796 teams since 2000. How big is that? Now, when they got to the playoffs, it then went to 13.3. But their regular season was 1.3. But you got to give Sirianni a lot of credit for him to be able to get these guys motivated. They came out. It was a business trip, and they went to town.
Right,
they
dominated. They were screaming. Philly fans were screaming for Sirianni's head about halfway through the season. They wanted him gone.
The mantra was, you're not going to win 3-peat on our watch. That was their mantra. They were fired up that nobody's going to win 3 in a row on our watch. And they came out bound and determined. They were all over the place, putting the pressure on them. 2 picks by Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's very rare. And he looked out of sorts, Travis Kelce looked out of sorts. I mean, this entire passing game looked out of sorts, and a lot of that is basically was due to the pass rush.
All right, coming up, we are going to take you back to yesterday, to the sounds of the big game, the Super Bowl, as you'll hear the local call in Philadelphia, Merrill Reese, who came on our program twice in the last 2 weeks with the Philadelphia Eagles. You hear the Fox call, our play of the game, our runner-up player of the game. You'll hear from Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, some Chiefs sound we have, and if we have some time, there was this little golf tournament in our backyard too. So we'll get into that next. We're just getting started. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN.